Hi, good evening. I'm Deb Hogue with the City of Reading, here for the Environmental Advisory Council's TV show, Our City, Our World. I have two guests with me this evening, and we're going to be discussing wastewater treatment plant residuals, or biosolids, sewage sludge as it's oftentimes called. With me I have Michael Wardell, who's the Executive Director of the Mid-Atlantic Biosolids Association, and Doree Sicker, who is the founder of the United Sludge-Free Alliance. I'll just say that as we're taping it, it's actually Earth Day, so we kind of want to think about all the different things that we've done and how we can reduce, reuse, and recycle things. I know there's been a lot of discussion with green technologies, carbon footprints. We're going to focus more on wastewater treatment, land application, farming, and kind of go from there. I'll start, Michael, if you want to tell us a little bit about your background. Mid-Atlantic Biosolids Association was founded, I believe you told me, in 1998, but how long have you been involved with the land application of wastewater biosolids?
I've been involved pretty actively in the industry since 1986. I permitted my first site then. It was a dairy farm. We applied biosolids to the dairy farm for a number of years, and then moved on from there to the largest land application facility in New Jersey, which is the city of Vineland. Ran that facility for 10 years, and since then have been actively involved as a consultant, or most recently, about the last year or so, as the Executive Director of the Mid-Atlantic Biosolids Association, which is an industry group that's interested in promoting the good science behind beneficial reuse.
Okay. So you're looking at the benefits of biosolids as a fertilizer then?
Well, I think our group started, that was the focus. Many of our initial members, like the City of Philadelphia and DC Water and Sewer Authority, did a lot of land application. But in the last few years, we're really more interested in promoting any option, any good reuse option. There are a number of them. A lot of our members incinerate their biosolids, some of them landfill. And so really what we're interested in doing is helping them preserve their options, to come up with better options, promote the technologies that are out there, and provide support for them as they do their jobs.
Okay. Doree Sicker is the founder of the United Sludge-Free Alliance, and I have to ask, when and why did that interest in the land application really begin? That seems to be a niche.
Yes, a niche. I got involved in this about 2 years ago. I got a phone call from friends who live outside of Kutztown, Pennsylvania, here in Berks County. The farmer near them was applying sludge 10 feet from their well, and less than 900 feet from all the wellheads of Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Kutztown is 10,000 residents and another 10,000 students. So we got concerned about that. When I started looking into this, their big upset was that there was nothing they could do to stop what they felt was a concern. When I discovered that the most sludged counties in Pennsylvania are Berks, Lancaster, and York, and Pennsylvania is one of the most sludged states in the whole nation, that really kind of set off some concerns for me upon checking the EPA. Our local DEP websites found that one of the most sludged farms is right off of Lake Arnolani, which is the watershed for Reading. I really got curious. When I found the EPA only requires testing for 9 elements, I thought, well, there's more than 9 elements under my sink. I wouldn't want to land apply. And thinking about everything that went down the drain of my home, but also industries, business, hospital, mortuaries. So that's what got me interested. Also, the fact that my friends phoned me because they felt so unempowered that there was nothing they could do to make this issue different. So that's kind of how I got involved.
I'll say I wear multiple hats for the city. One of them is as the Utilities Division Manager. I run the city's wastewater treatment plant and take care of the collection system. So I guess we are a generator,
yes,
of the biosolids, and always looking for different ways for disposal. And
I'd say we're all generators.
Yes, well, we are. If you go back, I believe it's in Leviticus that it talks about digging the hole and where to put your waste compared to where your water is and where your food is. But it also had us putting the waste into the ground, which I find interesting. Some of the things I guess I can say is running the wastewater facility. Yes, we are the largest generator of biosolids in Berks County. So it's obviously a topic of interest to the city as well, for many, many reasons. But I'll let Michael discuss some of the topics that you brought up, Doree. Can biosolids really contaminate the water supplies, and is it anything different between biosolids compared to a manure or a septic system when you start looking at water supplies and wells?
Lots of good questions. Certainly, if biosolids are misused, if you apply them where you shouldn't, there are management criteria that you need to follow, buffers that are required by Pennsylvania regulations. If you don't follow those rules, if you don't apply them at rates that are appropriate, we try to apply that at the rate that the crops need. We're limited by nitrogen. There's certainly a potential to contaminate water. But the standards are written around the idea that you are protective of the environment, protective of groundwater, protective of wells. So that's why there are buffers required. Depending on the material you're applying, it may be treated to a point where there are no longer pathogens or bacteria in the material. So, for example, some treatment plants dry their material and destroy the pathogens, or they may compost it. There are a number of facilities in Pennsylvania that do both of those things. So those materials are safe to use in a home garden. They can be used anywhere and do not pose a danger to wells and to groundwater. In terms of your questions about manure and septage and septic systems, again, all of those things have the potential to cause groundwater pollution or surface water pollution if you don't use them appropriately. If you apply manures too close to your well, you're going to potentially contaminate the well. Often, we see groundwater contamination, well contamination that's caused by septic systems, either your own septic system or your neighbor's, and that's not unusual to see. When I worked at the health department in Burlington County, New Jersey, one of the things I did a lot of study on was groundwater contamination of wells from septic systems, so that does occur. So in terms of safety, biosolids is a safe alternative, partly because it is so regulated. It is where we apply it is controlled, how much we apply is controlled, and the other alternatives, those other organics, also have a potential to contaminate groundwater, but if used appropriately, they are a good source of nutrients and a good source of materials to improve the soil.